Bell peppers, onions, chicken, and potatoes all cooked on the grill here. And I won't really be giving any total number of ingredients or anything. I just kind of wing it a little bit. Here lately I've been using a lot of coconut oil instead of my usual olive oil, because there is a school of thought that says that the coconut oil is less fattening than any other oil. The story goes that they decided to feed a bunch of pigs some coconut oil to fatten them up, and they never could get them fattened up, so they had to switch over to like corn oil or something. But the coconut oil wouldn't fatten them up, so it would appear that coconut oil is not as fattening, even though it indeed is the same number of calories as any other oil. All oils seem to be the same, officially the same number of calories per tablespoon. I always let things start sizzling real good here before I put the rest of the chicken. And I usually, on the chicken and my potatoes on this meal here, I say it like I've made it a million times. I've made it once. I was going to entitle this Experimental Food if I'd filmed my earlier one, because I really wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but it turned out just fantastically, so I don't know if I can get away with titling this Experimental Food again or not. But I like to chunk up the chicken and the potatoes just so it makes it more likely that each piece gets a little bit of brown rather than if you cut it up in strips, especially on the potatoes. Okay, I'm gonna close this lid until I hear things sizzling. Come on, hurry up. Well, it probably took 7 or 8 minutes, but the piece of chicken is finally starting to sizzle there. And I usually rinse my chicken and dry it real good before I put it on here. Didn't get quite enough salt on my chicken the last time. And things have a tendency, it seems like they cook fairly slow on here, so I will be lowering the lid quite a bit. That speeds things up and gets things done more evenly, of course, when you lower the lid. Of course, a person could do this on the stove or in the oven, and probably would be a little quicker, but nothing will give it the taste like what the cooking it on the grill would. And I do have my 2 burners both on high at the moment. I'll probably leave them on high for a pretty good little while here. Like most bunches of meat, when you go to cook it, it produces like a lot of liquid, which has to kind of boil off, and it don't really get started frying good until all that liquid sort of gets boiled off. Okay, actually it took about 20 minutes for it to really start sizzling a little bit here. It took it that long for all that liquid to sort of cook out of the chicken. And I'll probably, here in about 5 minutes, I'll be turning it down a little bit, but right now I've still got it up on high. Won't be too much longer really. I'll be adding some potatoes to it. About 90% of the time when I'm cooking this, I've got the lid closed. Things have been cooking right now for about exactly 30 minutes, so it's time to add the potatoes to it here. And yeah, that's almost too many potatoes. I will agree with that. It's time to put a little more salt on it. And basically, I just only cook with salt and pepper. I seldom get too fancy. A little bit of pepper. Stir everything up so the potatoes get a good coating of oil. Oops, lost one. I don't know if you saw it, but I lost one. Man overboard. I'll add just a little more cooking oil here. And this coconut oil, by the way, according to the ambient temperature, is either liquid or solid. Generally speaking, in the summertime around here, it's liquid or semi-liquid. Wintertime, it'll be solid. One thing you need to guard against on your cooking sometimes is the tendency to overturn stuff, to turn stuff over too often. Which if I don't put myself on a timer, I have a tendency to do that. It's been 8 minutes now since I turned this, which I was getting worried about it burning, which it doesn't look like there was any need to worry about that. It's really, really looking good, and I mean it smells scrumptious. Absolutely scrumptious. Okay, I'm going to be adding my peppers here about 5 minutes ahead of my onions. Sounds like everything's sizzling away pretty good. Okay, trying to stick just a shade here. I'll be adding a little bit more oil to it before I actually turn it over. Not sticking too bad though. And just look at the gorgeousness of this dish. It's just a really great looking dish. And I'll be taking one potato out to see how done it's getting. Yeah, I think the potato needs another 15 to 20 minutes maybe, so I'll probably cook the peppers 7 or 8 minutes and then put the onions in. It ought to be just about right. Okay, things have been cooking about 1 hour exactly. Time to go in with the onions here. And these onions, and I showed 2 onions on earlier in my video, but really I'm just using 1.5 because that seemed like 2 was just a little bit too much. And this is a very, very heavy cast iron container here. I don't know what you want to call it. Call it a pot or a griddle. I found that at a thrift store the other day for 10 bucks. It came with this really heavy lid here too, which I never have used. Just the lid itself probably weighs, oh goodness, the lid weighs at least about 8 pounds. A bit more salt, a little more pepper. Very colorful dish. I need to add a tiny bit more oil. I'm not claiming this is a low-calorie meal or anything. I'm just claiming it's a tasty meal. It's time for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. Oh yeah. And that's what I call some good eating. Oh yes, looking good. And looks like the onions still need a little more cooking time here. Thinking the whole thing probably needs another 12 minutes maybe. Okay, let's see how things are going here. Actually, the onions are about right. If my potatoes are done, I'm done, but I'm not sure if they're done. It seems like the last time I tasted them, they needed a little extra. So I might have to overdo some things to be able to get my potatoes done. Pick a bigger one here and see what we got. Ooh, it's hot. Look at that. Oh, that's just almost there. I think I'll go 5 more minutes. And you're about to see the final result. Oh yes, there it is, sports fans. Just look at that. Just browned exactly right. everything hopefully exactly right. Anyhow, that is going to be some excellent eating. I will go ahead and turn it over. I'm going to take this up off of here and put it on the stove and start eating it. Yummy. All right, that's it. I'm gonna be like really busy for the next few minutes. Bye everybody. Oh, hi there. Time for the post-meal post-mortem here. Or I guess better name might just be the post-meal wrap-up. The meal was almost perfect. I mean, you always strive for sheer perfection, which is often hard to reach, especially in a meal which has a lot of different parts to it that then they all need to get done at the same time. As I said, this was the second time I cooked this meal. The first time, I think my overall cooking time was longer, and I overcooked the chicken just a wee bit. The chicken was just a little bit chewy the first time I fixed it. This time I cooked it a little bit less, even though the cooking time actually wound up being about an hour and 25 minutes. It's just my particular grill, and that's a thick cast iron thing I'm cooking it in. It takes, you know, like almost an hour and a half to get it done. And I was determined this time to not overcook the chicken, so I took it out just a little bit sooner, and the potatoes could have stood just a little bit more cooking. I think had I cut the potatoes up just a shade smaller, that would have done it. It would have been absolutely perfect. So if you make this meal, just kind of, you know, look at how big my potatoes were, and cut yours up into a little bit smaller chunks, and I think you'll be all right. But you know, everything varies so much on a meal like this. Your grill's going to be different, your pan's going to be different, so everything's going to be different. But anyway, it's a worthwhile meal to try, because even when you don't hit it just right, it's still really, really good.